It's a pleasure to have you on, David.
Good to be here.
The fans will remember you as the superstar with more medals than Shearer. These days you're quite used to being in a studio like this as a part of the MUTV setup. You're a co-host at the United podcast, interviewing fellow former Reds. Must be quite enjoyable.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I enjoy doing the older players because they've got really, really interesting stories. From growing up with nothing and then coming out, obviously ending the careers or finally getting to Manchester United. Some of the stories are quite amazing, really are amazing. And we've probably done, I think we've maybe done, I don't know, 150, something like that, 140, 150. So it's going really well. I'm enjoying it. I love it. So yeah. Cool.
And you're obviously, you have a good look on what's going on with Ten Hag at the moment. What can you tell us about what's going on behind the scenes at Ten Hag's camp?
We know absolutely nothing about what's going on behind the scenes. No, that's a closed shop, as it should be. Under Sir Alex, under the gaffer, there was absolutely nothing, or very, very rarely anything got out. I think under Moyes, Mourinho, Van Gaal, things tended to get out. But I think with Ten Hag, I think he's now back to the Fergie days, where not a lot gets out.
That's good news, I guess.
It is. It's, when you think of the fine margins between winning and losing, if anything gets out to other teams or it's going to be a detriment to the team. So yeah, I'm loving the way Eric Ten Hag has come in and made some big decisions for the club and for the team as well. And he's been here just over a year now, so I'm absolutely delighted. And he's brought back a little bit of, for me, bit of belief. You can see the hunger that he instills in the players, the fight, the desire, and he takes no shit really.
How will you describe his style of management and his approach towards his players?
Well, I think everyone has an identity now. Very, very hard working. He doesn't let players get away with it. Whether they're late for work or late for a meeting, he rules the roost. He does, and that's the way it's got to be. Has to be that way. If you give players a yard, or give them an inch, they'll take a yard. Give them a yard, they'll take more. So he's very strict on what he does, and last year was a real success for the club.
Yeah, and one of the factors of success was Varane and Martinez. Obviously, they both had their absences last season, which we really learned how it could be without them. But what do you make of their partnership? How important is that for Ten Hag?
Well, I think if you look over the last 20, 25 years, go back to Brucey and Pally, the centre-halves have always been very, very strong. Brucey and Pally, then it was me and Pally, then it's Yap, Rio Vidic. You got Ronnie in there, you got Henning in there as well. Real professional people who know how to, set up and be tough to beat. I always say that if you've got a strong spine down the centre of a team, then you've got a really good chance of winning things. And with Varane and Martinez, I didn't really know much about Martinez. I saw bits of him obviously in the World Cup. Varane is just a Rolls Royce of a centre half. Pretty much like, I suppose, Brucey, Pally, Rio, Vidic. You know, you've got one player who's elegant and the other one is just an animal. And those animals are Brucey, Vida and Martinez, but they work ever so well together. You talk about leaders on the pitch. He's certainly one of the leaders. I love watching him play because he's no nonsense, takes no prisoners, and he's been a real asset to Manchester United. And towards the end of last season, it was such a shame that obviously he picked up his injury, but top player, top player.
You joined from Blackburn in 1994 to succeed two centre-backs that you've mentioned already in Bruce and Pallister. How is it to join the biggest club in the world?
You don't realise how big Manchester United is until you're inside the club and you're looking outside, and you know the fan base. Coming from Blackburn as a Blackburn player, I mean I come from Manchester, but coming to Blackburn or coming from Blackburn, it's like leaving a corner shop and ending up in Harrods. That's how big it is. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And you don't realise that until you get to the club. And wherever you go, wherever in the world, I've been all over four corners of the world, you'll always see Manchester United shirts. And it's mental. It is. You could, for me, there's no bigger, better club. It's the best club in the world.
We have a nice question from Magnus here. When did you realize I've made it?
Do you know what? I don't think I ever got to that point where I thought, "Wow, I've made it." I just took every. Do you take it at one game when you made your debut? Do you take it at 10 games, 50 games, 100 games? I never thought I'd made it. I just kept pushing myself.
Lifting the Premier League trophy. There must be a sense of...
Yeah, you're probably right. Winning your first trophy. Winning your first trophy. Winning the Premier League.
Or the treble.
Yeah. But I think growing up as a kid, I always wanted to play in an FA Cup final. Always. I loved it. I loved the fact it was old Wembley, and you know the walk up the slope onto the dog track onto Wembley. And I remember being a 16-year-old at Blackburn. We played in a trophy called the Full Members Cup, Blackburn versus Charlton, and they had a game, the apprentices between each other. That's where I thought, wow, this is incredible. I'd love to play, another game in this stadium. It was sensational for a young kid from North Manchester to finally walk out at Wembley, even if it was just for the apprentices, was unbelievable. But then to do it, I've been 16 then, so I'd have been, 9 years later on, to actually walk out in an FA Cup final against our arch rivals Liverpool and beat them does not come any better.
And one such moment could perhaps have been your first goal for the club. But there was a certain Eric Cantona stealing your thunder that day, wasn't there?
There was, yeah. When the manager said to Eric, "I'm looking for you to do something special in the second half," don't think anybody expected him to do that. But listen,
this was the kung fu kick at Sellers Park.
It was, and I get asked that. I mean, the thing is as well, this is a great quiz question. Who scored the goal at Sellers Park that night? Everybody goes Coley or Mark Hughes or Giggsy, Sharpie, Ince. No, it was me, and he took over. I'm thinking there, right, 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go, thinking, right, yeah, I've got the winner, and then. Southgate scores the equaliser, and you're thinking, but yeah, I mean to score any time for United is brilliant.
He was your roommate, wasn't he, Eric Cantona?
Just for the one game. Yeah. there was, I think Incy and Giggsy were together. Dennis and Roy were together. Everyone had their own sort of like room partners. Obviously, I'd just come to the club, so I didn't have anybody. But what happens when you travel away is you get to the hotel 6:15. You go up to you get your room key, you get up to your room and drop your bags in, and 7 o'clock then you go down for your evening meal. Or 6:45, you sort of like head on down there, and I was laying in the bed probably about 6:30, 7:15, and I'm thinking, right. Then Eric walks in, and I'm thinking, ooh, shit, what do I say to Eric? Obviously, I've played in the so many games before that in pre-season.
It's still Eric Cantona.
But it's still Eric. It's still Eric, and it was like, what does he watch on TV? Has he got the same TV listings as what I'd have, which would be Coronation Street, Brookside, whose line is it anyway, and all sorts of stuff like that. And then I just passed him the remote control. Said, Eric, you can have whatever you want on. But yeah, it was...
Do you remember his choice?
I think it would have been... obviously the meal's at 7 o'clock, so you go down, you have your steak and your chips and whatever it was, because you could have all that then back in early 90s, 94, 95. You could generally have much as whatever you wanted. It would have been... We'd have got back up to the room, or I'd have been there 7:30. It would have been Coronation Street all day long.
You're known as the master of pranks, if I'm not mistaken, David. Did you pull any pranks on Eric?
No. No, certainly not. You've got to know your people. Yeah.
So who was at the receiving end?
Anybody really that came in with new gear, new clothing, or new trainers and anything like that, new boxes. Or
what would happen then?
I just cut the laces on them. I know it's the most childish thing ever to do, but when you see a brand new pair of like shoe or trainers or something like that, I mean, a lot of lads just wore trainers from the sponsors, but you would end up, cutting the laces out. Or Albert, the kit man, it would be DP. I don't know whether you get that over here. So like,
what is it?
It's, you put it on before you, like the lads who do all the massages, they'll put a little bit of DP and get some heat into your legs and a little bit of oil, but you just
Tiger balm,
similar to that, but hotter. So and you put it on the bottom of your back and warm your back up. And this probably a little bit more a mental thing. Think, I'll put a bit of that on, bit of Vicks on your chest. But I would always, every occasion, or not every occasion, once a month, once every 5 weeks, just stick a little bit in Albert's boxer shorts, and Albert would then stick his boxers on and pull them up, and next minute he's got this Tiger Balm or DP burning his Teddy Smalls. Yeah.
I've also heard some whispers about some red wine.
Red wine?
With Albert?
Yes, that was... so we'd been to... This is after I actually retired, so we'd been to Cyprus on maybe the 15th or 20th anniversary of their supporters branch. And the manager had been out before with Kiddo, and I think it might have been with Albert. So we're coming home, and the gaff was going on. This is just after 9/11. So no liquids on board, or you couldn't take liquids through. So as we sat by the pool, I think the manager left the day before. So we're all sat by the pool with our wives and girlfriends and just having a few beers and stuff like that. And the gaffer came over, and at the time I was importing wine from South Africa. So the manager came over with this like Burberry paper bag, and says, "What do you think of them two there, Maisie?" And I went, "Wow, where have you got them from?" And he told me the story of this guy had just, as a present, as a gift, gave him these 2 bottles of wine. One was a Petrus, such and such a year. And the other one was, I a lovely bottle of Armagnac worth a fortune. So Albert takes the gaffer to the airport. He tries to go through with this carrier bag. Obviously, no liquids on board, so Albert has to take him back to the hotel. So as he takes him back, we're still sat by the pool, and he says, Maisie, he says, the gaffers give me these bottles. I went, what are you going to do with them? He says, how am I going to get them home? I said, Albert, best thing to do is just wrap them in a towel and just stick them in your bag. Make sure they're in the middle of your suitcase. You'll be fine. Maisie, I can't be doing that. I said, right, I'll tell you what. I've got a hard case Samsonite. I'll put them in my bag and I'll bring them to work tomorrow. Bring them to Carrington tomorrow. Will you do that? I went, yeah, of course we will. It's not a problem. Not a problem. Maisie, don't tell the gaffer. I went, I won't say anything. I said, just come into training. So we do that. I go home, we land, and so in the morning I ring Albert up, 6:30 in the morning. Albert's Maisie. Yes, son, what's up? He went, don't tell me. I went, Albert, I'm so sorry. I had my car broke into last night. Oh, beep, 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 beep. The gaffer's going to go beep, beep, mental at me. I went, it's fine. I've spoke to the insurance. Now, if Albert actually thought, took a couple of seconds to think about it, obviously the insurance company would have been shut at the time. I went, Albert, I've spoke to the insurance. It's fine. They know where it is. They'll pay. Oh, the manager's going to go absolutely mental. I said, look, I'll come in. I'll be in about 9 o'clock, 9:15. I'll come in and I'll go to see the gaffer and I'll explain what's going on. Maisie, he told me not to give the wine to anybody, but I'll give it to you. I said, Albert, it's not my fault my car got broke into. Well, why didn't you put it in the house? I said, it was in the boot. I said, anyway, 9:15, I go down to Carrington with these two bottles of wine. And as I'm walking in the front door at Carrington, Albert's walking down, having just spoken to the gaffer.
Okay.
And his ears are still ringing. And to this day, whenever I speak to the manager, he still pisses himself laughing at it. He went, that's one of the best things I've ever heard. And Albert just went, I knew it. I knew it. I knew there was something wrong. I knew you was up to something. So, yeah, that was the wine. So
whatever you do, never lose Sir Alex red wine.
No, absolutely. No, he loves his red wine.
You had to be a bit of a tough nail in that dressing room, didn't you?
In terms of?
In terms of coping with all the banter.
I suppose it's the same in every dressing room. You know, everyone takes a mick out of each other, and you've got to be pretty thick-skinned to get on with it. But it's, I always say, the main reason why Man United was so successful, not just because it was brilliant players, because they were, was the camaraderie, the togetherness, and that dressing room. So yeah, you could walk in with a dodgy t-shirt on and you'd get it all day long. You'd walk back in, you go to the physio's room for a strapping or whatever it is, and you come back in, it'd be hung up in the middle of the dressing room. Just stupid things, but it just kept ticking over. And yeah, it was a brilliant dressing room. There's not people often ask, who didn't you get on with? And I got on with everybody. Everybody was so close together.
What's the best prank you never dared to go through with?
Do you know this?
I might.
See, this goes back to, so Dave Fever used to be the physio at United. He used to be, I think he was Wigan Warriors in the rugby. And his team had been to Australia. And one of the lads coming back on a long flight, they're all out on the beer and obviously everyone's falling asleep. But one of the lads had a bottle of Imac, which is hair remover. So he's lifted his cap off, put this hair remover on and put it back on just as they're coming into land. So I thought that'd be a great idea to put it in a shampoo bottle. But I never really. That was probably going a little bit too far.
So Beckham could have lost all his
It could have done.
hair.
It could have. I did do one with Brian McClare. I did. I had 2 fish. And Chucky used to take the mick out of my car, and I thought, right, I'll get him back. So as he's gone training over to Carrington, over to Littleton Road, I bought 2 fish, and I put one of them under the heaters of the in his car. I don't think he actually ever knew that it was me. So here you go, Chucky. It was me.
A delightful.
Yeah.
You mentioned the gaffer. Lars wants to know, what's your most memorable moment with Ferguson? Good or bad? Preferably bad.
Preferably bad. Listen, there's many times I've had the hairdryer. First one, we played up in Scotland for it was a tournament. United, Sampdoria, Newcastle, Rangers. And our first game was against Rangers. And just as we're in the dressing room about 2:30 for a 3 o'clock kickoff, who walks in? Sean Connery, James Bond. And me being the only signing that season, the manager came over and introduced me to James Bond, to Sean Connery.
Is he the best James Bond in your opinion?
Yeah, probably, yeah. And the pair of us just sat there just chatting about football, and because I'd come from Blackburn where Kenny was, and obviously he's a Scottish guy, and so chatting away, and I'm absolutely buzzing because like this guy's like a license to kill, James Bond. It's like I'm in awe because it's an absolute superstar. So probably an hour later, so he leaves at quarter to 3 as we're about to go out and stuff. And coming at half time, and we're 1-0 down. I've scored an own goal. We're getting beat 1-0 against Rangers. Obviously, the manager's gone absolutely fucking mental at me. And I'm thinking, 45 minutes or an hour ago, you're introducing me to 007 James Bond. I'm this golden child that's just come into the club, and an hour later, he's ripping my head off. So that was my first hairdryer. Not good.
I just love United.
You had some good moments with Ferguson as well. You won 7 trophies at United, including the charity shields here.
Yeah.
Do you include them yourself?
No, not really. No.
Okay.
No.
5 trophies then at United.
Yeah.
Yeah, including the treble, obviously, in '99. You played the FA Cup final with Ronnie.
I did, yeah.
Why do you call him Iceman?
Because it was pretty quick, to be fair. When he joined the club, it was pretty. The name was given to him by one of the lads that after every training session, he'd have a bag of ice, whether it's on his Achilles, his knee, his shoulder, his hip, his ankle. So he became the Iceman. Yeah.
Lindelöf, obviously, also the Iceman, but for different reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, I'll go on record and I'll say that for me, Ronnie was the best centre-half I played with.
You played with some good ones.
I did. I played with Pally and Brucey, a few games with Rio and Yap. But for me, I just had a great understanding with Ronnie. And yeah, Ronnie was phenomenal.
You played a good final at Wembley with Ronnie, and then you didn't play in the Champions League that season. Nevertheless, I'd say you were the greatest champion at the photo shoots. Yeah.
No.
You were quite good at positioning yourself at those trophy pictures.
Yeah, I think if you look at all the trophies that I won and medals I've won, you would find me very, very close to the trophy. My dad said to me, even growing up, you're going to show me a picture.
Yeah, I mean, this one is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. And do you know what? when I look back at that photograph, so much as it's an unbelievable picture, I sometimes cringe it and I think, do you know what, I didn't even kick a ball in the Champions League that year. But that night, for those, I don't know, for that hour after us winning the trophy and winning the treble, it's got to be the best hour of enjoyment, of celebrating I've ever had. It was unbelievable. Oh, and what really knacks me with the English television is that I think the game maybe finished at, I don't know, 10:15, 11:15, whatever it was. 11 o'clock, stopped. So it missed all that. You got the trophy lift, and that was it. But over the years, you see all different footage coming out of that celebration on social media, and some of them are unbelievable. And yeah, I went absolutely mental. But at that night, so much as I was a player, I was also a fan. So,
for those listening to the podcast, it's the picture is basically at a tower of United players with the Champions League trophy on top, and then you all the way
at the top,
at the top with both your arms into the air.
Yeah.
What can you say about those celebrations? I've been told that you couldn't order double vodka that night. You had to order triple vodka.
Who said that?
Ollie.
Did he?
On the way home, no double vodkas, only
Solskjaer.
triple. Yeah.
Ollie, what are you doing drinking? Yeah. I mean, I remember from the hotel to the Arts Hotel, I think maybe we got back to the hotel about 1:30. It was really late. And then it was straight up to the room. I put my bag in, didn't get changed, straight down to the basement and just partied all the way through. Brilliant night. So good. I had champagne breakfast with Coley, went back upstairs, got my bag, brushed my teeth and came out. So I never slept. Maybe I had an hour on the plane, if that. And then the procession through Manchester, which was, wow. I mean, City go on about their treble this year and Deansgate being full. Certainly not as big as what United was. It was incredible, unbelievable. And then we ended up at the MEN Arena, going in there. And then to get out of because it was absolutely rammed, to get out of the actual MEN Arena, myself, my wife, my mum and dad ended up in the back of a police van and Yorkie, going up to Collier's police station, and we ordered a taxi from there. So the Blues and Twos went on and we managed to get out. And then Yorkie said to me, because Yorkie still had his cap on, his big cigar and his medal round his neck, Maisie, you coming back into town? I went, Yorkie, joking. I slept for the last 36 hours, whatever it was. Come on, Maisie, come on, let's go and celebrate. I went, Yorkie, one, you're in the middle of Collyhurst and you've got a Man United suit on. You've got the Champions League medal around your neck. Please do me a favour and take it off. Otherwise, you'll get it robbed. Amazing. Come on. I went, Yorkie, I'm off. We got a taxi home and he in fact, I think he might have actually walked into town. Or maybe the coppers took him into town. Dropped him somewhere.
Not too much footage about these parties, I guess.
No, just
the memories.
Yeah, obviously because it was all before, iPhones and all that sort of stuff. I mean, some of the footage would have been absolutely incredible. The lads dancing around the trophy, singing, everything about. Simon Le Bon tried getting into our party. Simon and Yasmin Le Bon, and they got turfed out. They weren't allowed in. But yeah, best night ever.
Yeah, and obviously, probably thanks to the manner you won the game.
Yeah.
Do you still remember the moment when Solskjaer scored the winning goal?
Absolutely, I've seen it. I must see it once a week, twice a week. Yeah. The thing is, United never ever, that season, We scored so many late goals in games. So many, even going back to the FA Cup third round against the Scousers. Just the drama of it all. United, there's nothing better in football coming back late on and scoring winners. Best feeling ever. Sometimes it's better than going out and, winning 3-4, 5-0 because it's that adrenaline, that push, that rush you get from the fans and from your teammates scoring. But that when Ollie scored that, Jesus.
What was your immediate thoughts on Solskjaer when he came into to Carrington for the first time?
Who's this baby? Who's this kid?
Yeah.
And it's still the same. Still the same. Even when you look at him now. I think it was Ollie, Poborski, Ronnie, Raymond van der Gaal. They were the 4 signings that season. I remember Poborski scoring a chip for the Czech Republic at Villa Park that everyone raved over. Raymond, I didn't really know much about him, and obviously Ronnie and Ollie didn't know much again about them lads. But again, and Yardi as well.
Yeah.
See, you knew about Yardi or the Cruyff family, but Ollie himself, just like a little kid.
They thought he was just
a schoolboy or something. Yeah. But I tell you what, I would say within the first 2 or 3 days of training, wow.
Yeah, it was probably the Cliff, not Carrington.
Sorry, yeah. I might say
my mistake.
Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah, it was a Cliff.
Sorry. Yeah. And then you went off for him actually against Blackburn.
I did, yeah. Was it 2-1? Was it?
Yeah,
2-1. Yeah, and probably the last throw of the dice really, and I came off for Ollie, and I think it was Eric. Did Eric flick it on? Eric flicked it on. First touch, Tim Flowers saves it, and then just smash. I think it might have gone through Tim Flowers' legs. Second effort. But yeah, I mean, the amount of goals he scored through players' legs, in training, it used to piss me right off because I knew what he was going to do, but you can't stop him because if you go, you'd set yourself for him to curl it to the far post. So you spread yourself that way, and they'll put through your legs.
You left United for Burnley after 9 years.
Yeah.
How was the last night with the lads?
2003. United had just won the league at Everton, and yeah, it was tough. They just won the league. Everyone's on a high. The manager had already told me that I was surplus to requirements of the club. And
how was it to receive that message?
I knew it was coming. I'd had my injuries. I hadn't played, I don't know, half a dozen games in two years. So my name was on the list to be let go. And having been there for 8-9 years, it was tough. It was tough. But obviously I understood what the manager was doing because that's his job. The club's not all about David May. It's about progression, and I think Ronnie might have left, but Rio was in, and I think he would have played alongside Ronnie. Rio. Vidic hadn't come in by then. But anyway, I knew my time was up, so... but it's still tough because you're leaving your mates. But yeah, I went to join them in the living room on Deansgate. I had an apartment behind there, so I thought, well, I'll stay in town for that night. And as I left the lads all celebrating. I thought I'll get myself a bottle of champagne, put it on the lads' bill, and I thought, well, next time they win the league, I'll open that. Didn't know that I would walk around the back of the living room across Parsonage Gardens, and there was a homeless bloke sat on a bench. All right, mate. How you doing? You all right? I went, yeah, good. He says, what have you got there? I said, I've got a bottle of Krug champagne. Are we opening it? Go on then. So me and this homeless guy sat on a park bench behind
Really?
Behind the living room, yeah, sharing this bottle of £200 Krug champagne between us. Woke up the next morning. I should have took him in. But yeah, he was left cuddling this bottle of champagne in his arms.
Nice gesture. And like you said, to join Man United was the biggest thing you can do in football. And it's been said that when you've been a United player, nothing else will ever compare with that. So how did it make you feel to leave Old Trafford?
As I said, it was. I mean, it wasn't a tough call because the manager made that call for me. But yeah, it was tough. It was tough. That's having been successful, having won things. Obviously, injuries then came into it, and when you're not playing, it's tough. But that's part and parcel of football. But listen, you're leaving the biggest and best club in the world, the best fans in the world, and even now, wherever I go, still get recognised. Even at the airport, coming here, there's a few people that recognise us, said hello. So that's really, really nice. It's really, really nice, and football without fans is nothing. And coming to Norway this weekend, it's another celebration of what the Norwegian branch has done, Scandinavian branch. Wherever you go, United's everywhere. Last week I was in the Isle of Man for a supporters dinner to raise money for defibrillators to be put around the Isle of Man, which is fantastic. 2 week away, I'm in Bray for the Bray football supporters branch there, and there's a game going on there. So yeah, I'm busy and I love it. I absolutely love meeting the United fans.
Good to be back.
In Norway?
At United. Yeah.
Do you know what? I've never left. Never left. I retired in 2003 from the club, and 20 years on, I'm still doing bits and bobs down there. So I absolutely love it.
Obviously, it's been a difficult 10 years for United fans, and there's now been some. They're trying to build a bridge, I guess, between the club and the fans again. But being a part of that dressing room that you were a part of, and seeing the players now today, is it possible to put into words what the fans mean to each and one of them as the players? Do they recognize the support they get?
I would honestly like to think they would do, because I think it's only when you realise, when you leave the club, you realise how special it is and how special the fans are. These fans will stick with you through thick and thin. And, when the shit hits a fan and you need the fans behind you, I wouldn't trust any other fans. They are the best in the world. And I've got so many friends that have become really, really close friends over the years. Not just because I played for United, but I was part of the family. And every single fan is part of the family. And I would love to think that they understand what the fans mean to them, because as I just said there, Manchester United without fans is nothing, and we've got the best following across the world.
Thank you so much for your time, David.
My pleasure.
You've been to Norway a few times now. Have you ever played golf here?
I've ever played.
Because you're a quite skilled golfer, aren't you?
I'm not bad. Yeah, I'm not bad. There's some good golfers in the club, or ex-players.
Vegard wants to know who were the best golfer at the club.
Well,
if there was a championship.
If there was a championship, ooh. I'd like to put my name in the hat there. It'd be. Well, these are the players. So Sharpie plays off one. I play a 4, Clayton scratch, I think Yorkie's scratch, Lee Martin's 6, Michael Carrick, he's really, really low as well. So it'd be a good tournament, I'm sure.
Good contest.
It would.
And you've been arranging a charity tournament for 10 years now?
I think it's our 15th year. So 15 years, yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, a friend of mine, a really, really good friend of mine, John Blythe. He's a Scouser. How on earth that came about, I have no idea. I apologise. He played in the manager's golf day and I was in his team. That's the relationship, how we became friends. And as we became friends, obviously talk about your families and stuff like that. And his mother had breast cancer. My gran had bowel cancer. So we said, why don't we do a golf day for cancer research? And as I say, that was 15 years ago. And now it's 22nd of September this year. Raised over, I think we're £2,000 short of £250,000.
Wow.
So yeah, it's something very, very close to our hearts. And Scholesy plays, Lee Martin plays, Sharpie's played in it, Coley's played in it, Yorkie, Dennis. Lots of the lads have supported it, but the majority of people who do play are just mates and returning people who have played in it. So that's really, really good. And as I say, we'll probably make another 35 grand this year, hopefully, and add that to the tally. So yeah, I'm very, very proud of what we've achieved, and everybody, I'm sure, will know somebody that's been touched by cancer. So yeah, we'll keep the fight going for that.
Well done. Thank you so much for not doing any pranks on me here. Yet.
This time.
Well done, David.
Cheers, pal.